Do you want to have a spooky paranormal discussion with us? Come join us. Warning, this show is for entertainment purposes only. The views and opinions expressed are theories, folklore, historical, fantastical, and speculation, and not to be taken as pure fact. Viewer discretion is advised. Melanie Lightbeam and the Shamrock Pixie join forces together to bring you paranormal, strange, unusual, scary, spooky, or just overall unbelievable stories and discussions. Viewer discretion is advised. This is an open talk show discussing all things paranormal. We encourage audience participation. So sit back, grab some popcorn, share out to your friends. Together, we can explore the paranormal. Don't forget, subscribe to everyone, hit that like button, share out, or for super chats as a thank you. Have fun and enjoy. Welcome to the show. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Jello.
I'm actually really excited about this topic. I am. This is going to be a fun topic.
I think so.
Yes, we are doing the Mothman Prophecies. Actually, we should just say the Mothman, because Mothman was actually Prophecies was actually a book and movie that stemmed from the Mothman. So we're going to be discussing all about the Mothman and the theories behind that very interesting flapping figurine that comes into the night and scares you. Hello, Susanna is in the house. Welcome to the show. So where do we begin? This is a good one. Well, first off, I need to know how many people did you see the movie Mothman Prophecies? We gave that as a homework assignment. I saw it. Well, I saw it way in, but then again, I saw it a couple of days ago to refresh my memory on it. So, did you see the Mothman Prophecies movie with Richard Gere?
I did.
Now, see, I have to laugh though, because when you see movies that are older, because the movie came out in the 80s, when you see movies that are older, you notice little things like the cars are different, the telephones are like they have the landline telephones, just overall cell phones. That's the funniest thing. I mean, this movie didn't even have cell phones. Well, it did, but you know what I mean? Like the cell phones are different.
I don't remember seeing a cell phone.
It wasn't cell phones. No, it was all landline phones. But I mean, just in general, when you watch older movies. So yes, this is.
Oh, yeah,
it is an older movie, and you forget, like when you see movies, it's like a blast in the past, and it's like that was like. That's the first thing I've noticed. I was going crazy. It's like, oh, there's a landline. Oh, there's a car.
I know. It was trippy watching the movie, you know. And of course, as I was watching, Tommy was on his phone doing research.
Oh, I know. And
we will bring that in.
She breaks my heart on this one with the research. But that's okay, because you know something, this is what makes it beautiful, where you get to decide what path you want to take.
Yes.
Like what we allow you to have an informed decision, because we give you all the research, all the facts that we have, I shouldn't say facts, all the theories that we have, and then you decide, what do you actually believe? Which path are you going to take? Because I think that's the same with all these shows that we do. It's like, we're going to give you stuff that people say, people think, the theories that are out there, and the research, and you tell us, what do you think?
And the bargain effect says, aka Tommy says, I love research.
He loves the research.
He does. He will watch a lot of shows that are supposed to be based on true events. Kind of like the Mothman Prophecies. It was taken from about a town that had this, terrible thing happen, and the Mothman was brought into it. Okay. But we watch a lot of shows that they say, you know, based on true events, loosely based on true events. And Tommy wants to know what the truth is. So we'll be watching it, and he's got his phone. Usually it's at night when we're laying in bed watching the shows, and he'll do his research. And he's quick. As most people know, he's very quick when it comes to his research. So it was very interesting what he found with the town related to this particular movie.
Right. And of course, I have some counter research as well. And that's why I love this. I'm like, I love this. Des brought research, and I'm like, yes, we're gonna do a little.
I got Tommy's research. Yes. He's very smart.
So how about we just start off with the basis? What is Mothman? Because Mothman is actually a cryptid. Now, what's interesting about a cryptid is those are animals that cryptozoologists believe may or may not exist somewhere in the wild, but there's no evidence, and their existence is disputed because it's not backed up by science. So,
kind of like Bigfoot.
Yes, Bigfoot is a cryptid. Unicorns, cryptid. Loch Ness Monster, Chupacabra. I mean, there's so many cryptids out there. Yes?
I actually know somebody who lives near the lake in Scotland for the Loch Ness Monster. And my son just came down. So he said it's not real.
Right. So, I mean,
he lives there. So I was like, oh, okay.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cough. So the cryptids is a pseudoscience because it's basically the reject
that word and then
yes.
the pseudoscience.
Okay.
I think when we do the mythological creatures.
Mythological creatures are definitely cryptids.
Yeah.
So let me copy and paste this real quick. I'll put it in the chat.
I gotta take my notes.
Okay. So cryptids are animals that cryptologists believe exist somewhere in the wild. Cryptozoology is the study of that. It's a pseudoscience, and I'm just going to write this as well. Okay. I'm cutting and pasting. I'm sorry, guys. All right.
No, that's fine.
So like I said, the cryptids could be your unicorns, your Loch Ness Monster, your Chupacabra, your Mothman. Now, what's interesting is there are cryptids in the past that actually are real.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you an example. I'll give you 7 examples of those because just at the time that they were envisioned, people didn't realize that they were real animals. Now science shows, yes, they're real. For example, the platypus, which is one of the weirdest creatures.
Platypus.
Yes, the duck-billed platypus used to be a cryptid. The Komodo dragon was a cryptid. Believe it or not, the gorilla used to be. And it's basically, you have to think about in the past, they didn't have access to all these different islands or places. So, for example, and kangaroos. Kangaroos were once cryptids as well. So just think about if somebody came up to you and said, hey, there's this bouncing thing that has this little pouch in the stomach and it just goes bounce, bounce, bounce. People would think you're crazy if they've never seen or heard of a kangaroo because it's not local to their town. Right. So it's a very interesting thing how, as science develops, cryptids could be actually real, which begs the question, is the Mothman real? Hello, Bud Files. Welcome to the show. So now the history of the Mothman is we have this huge bird-like figurine. It has red glowing eyes that peer through you at the night. It has huge wings. It flies around. The wingspan is supposed to be 12 feet long. The creature itself is anywhere from 6 to 10 feet, and it has glowing red eyes. So, I mean, the one thing that I thought about are those gigantic fruit bats. If anybody's seen those, they're like...
Yeah. Oh, the big ones. Yeah.
That's one of the things I thought of. So if you've never seen a bat that's literally the size of a toddler, like a huge... I mean, we're not talking about little bats.
Like my size. I'm 5 foot. I think they'd get up to 5 foot.
Yeah. Could you imagine a bat 5 foot? And that's a real that's a real thing. The fruit bats, they are real bats that are that big. So it makes me wonder, do people misinterpret the Mothman as possibly a giant fruit bat because it's just so big? Who knows?
And that's the thing with these kind of creatures, mythological creatures, that kind of thing. It's kind of mind-boggling to hear that, like the duckbill platypus, the kangaroo, gorillas. I wanted to be an animal communication specialist when I was younger, and that's somebody who teaches sign language to animals like gorillas and stuff. And that's what I wanted to do was work with gorillas and chimpanzees and stuff like that. And to me, it's hard to understand that at one point in time, people didn't really, they were cryptid. It's kind of cool, but it's also kind of hard to believe because we grew up knowing that there are all these animals, and
if you've never been exposed, been exposed to it, how do you know it's actually real or not? And that's where the science versus pseudoscience comes into it. Because like I said, cryptids right now, they believe they may or may not exist. There's not really science to back it. Like they don't have they don't have a Mothman in captivity that says, okay, yes, that this is an actual real thing.
Right.
So it makes it interesting. And this is going to tie into when we finally do our mythical creatures one, because we are definitely going to be talking about cryptids for that show. But that's later on. That's going to be in July. So let's talk about Mothman Prophecies. Little old town in West Virginia called Point Pleasant.
Point Pleasant might not like me after this show.
Point Pleasant's going to be like right now. Point Pleasant is a little tiny town in the middle of nowhere on the Ohio River. So you're shaking your head on this. All right.
Oh, no, nothing bad. I'm just listening. All
right.
I got my marker, got my pen.
All right. So basically what happened in Point Pleasant is there was a tragedy that struck that town. Okay. Yes. And I'm going to get the exact date. Because I'm going backwards. I started backwards in my notes, so apology. Okay, December 15th, 1967. So we're taking a trip back in time. December 15th, 1967 was a tragedy of that town. There was a bridge called the Silver Bridge. It crossed over the Ohio River, and basically it collapsed right before Christmas. This was December 15th. And one of the things that they said, that it was such a devastating collapse, 46 people died. Their cars all went into the water. And because it's Christmas time, they had Christmas presents and everything. So not only were bodies floating in the water, the police talk about how the Christmas presents were floating in the water as well, because it was that festive time of year. And yet tragedy struck this tiny little town where everybody knows everybody. I mean, this is one of those backwater small towns that you've known everybody. So for that kind of tragedy to strike, it really was an emotional tragedy, and particularly during such a seasonal happy time. But what makes it weird is up until that point, a lot of strange stuff started happening. And that's where the Mothman comes in. So now the theory behind the Mothman is, it is said that the Mothman comes when a tragedy is about to strike.
Right.
That's the theory behind Mothman.
Yeah.
So,
now,
yes, go ahead.
I saw, so Mothman, so I pulled it up, and it says Mothman in West Virginia is folklore. And it was reportedly started to be seen November 15th, 1966 to December 15th, 1967.
So once that bridge collapsed, there were no future sightings of the Mothman after that bridge collapsed. So they're tying into the town's tragedy to a folklore cryptid that was plaguing the town for the year. And it was only for 1 year. It was only from 66 to 67. Other than that, the town has never seen the Mothman before.
Or after.
Correct. Yeah, hasn't been seen since. It was only that 1 year for a very short time. But in addition to the Mothman, they also had an uptick in a lot of UFO sightings, a lot of extraterrestrial sightings, and they even have visitation from aliens as well, which tie into the folklore of the Mothman. But the story gets interesting, so I'm gonna throw it to Des because she has an interesting take on this.
Yes. So, like I was saying, Tommy was when we were watching this movie.
Let's just say hello to Zach. Hello, Zach. Welcome to the show. It's been a while.
So, as we were watching the Mothman Prophecies, Tommy did his research and he did a deep dive. And come to find out, the town was losing revenue. It was not doing good at all. And then this bridge collapsed. And so what was proven was that it was actually made up to bring people in for revenue. Yeah. So it was proven that it was not really what really happened. And now, I'm not saying any other place that people have reported seeing the Mothman, but in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, it was made up to bring people in. And I think, me personally, I feel the reason why they brought that Mothman into this was the way that they were able to cope and try to explain what happened. So I mean, that's me personally, but I mean, because grief can do some really crazy things to people. But Tommy did find that it was
made up.
Now,
instantly, what I said to Des is, okay, if they made it up, then what about all the other stories of the Mothman? How does that tie in? And what about all the UFO encounters that happened during that time?
If they're going to make something up about the Mothman, it's really hard for me to believe that they're having encounters with E.T. I'm sorry. I mean, I get it. I don't hate the town. They are trying to bring people in. They're trying to make money. They're trying to cope with what happened to their town, with the people and stuff that they lost. I get it. I'm not hating. Would I like to go and visit? It's not something on my bucket list, but if we ever go through the town, then I'd stop and check it out. But with finding out that was something that they added to them, because the Mothman has been around forever. It's not just like this one particular town. It's been seen in Chicago numerous different times. It's been seen in other places. But this area, it was proven that it was just made up to bring revenue into this town. And now, like I said, they're probably going to hate me, but you know what? Y'all are the ones that decided to make up a story instead of just coping.
But here's the thing.
Find a different way to cope. But
I'm just going to do a twist. But isn't that the case with any strange phenomenon, that there's always going to be skeptics? There's always going to be counter.
Oh yeah, I mean,
so even when even with Roswell, Mexico, with the whole UFOs, you have people that says it was a weather balloon. It never happened. They made it up.
There's a difference. I mean, town people actually came clean, from what I understand, from what he was researching, that it was a story made up to bring people in. I ain't hating. more power to you. That's awesome. Keep making that money. However, there is always going to be skeptics no matter what.
But see,
And
that's where I'm getting at, is because I'm not saying that it's completely a hoax, but
right.
the hoax side is the skeptic side. What about the people who swear by it, saying this actually happened? You could be saying it's a hoax. There could be town people, because think about it this way. What about the people who want to keep their town? I'm going to use the words loosely. They want to keep their town wholesome. They want to keep their town a friendly family town. And you're bringing in this garbage about UFOs and this and that.
Well, I get that. I do, because, every town has its secrets. Every town has something that's going on. That's how it is. There's a way to tell if, you got the crazies or people believe. I believe that there are UFOs. I do believe in ET. I do believe we have aliens. That is one thing that I do believe in. Because I don't believe that we are the only planet in the universe that has life on it. I do believe there's other planets that have life. They may not look like us, but I do believe that there is life on other planets. Because we can't be the only one. It just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense. Why are we the only planet in the whole trillion and trillions of universes that has life? It doesn't make sense to me. So I do believe that is one thing that I want to say. I do believe that there are aliens out there. And ET, they just may not look like us, or they may look like us, and I could be an alien. You never know. But you're going to always have skeptics, and it doesn't matter what the topic is. There are people who believe in paranormal ghosts. There are people who don't believe. And then there are people like, well, if I see something, I see something,
Right.
But I'm open to it. I believe that we have ghosts and spirits that walk among us. But I also, trying to explain it to other people, sometimes you can't put it into words. They actually have to experience it. Now, with Chicago, there's been multiple sightings of the Mothman. People it's been proven that these people have no idea who each other are. They don't know each other. Okay, it's been proven. And they've been in different areas of Chicago, and they have pictures, what they believe is the Mothman.
And it always looks like this tall figurine, black wings, red eyes.
Yep.
I mean,
and it was during the day. He was spotted during the day at I can't remember the date, but I thought I would, but I guess I don't. But it was during the day, one of these sightings of the Mothman, and there were numerous reports of the Mothman. And it was proven that these people had no idea who the other person is that were reporting it. So do I think the Mothman exists? There is absolutely, what's the word I'm looking for? There's absolutely positively could exist. I just don't believe that town. It was proven that town made it up so they could bring in more money.
Now I'm going to actually defend her for a minute. At first I was giving the counter. I'm going to defend her. So the book is called Mothman Prophecies, same thing as the movie. So they're both based on a book written by John Keel. I'm going to write that in the chat. I can't spell Prophecies. John Keel. Which is actually interesting because in the book, the character is Alexander Leek. Leek. It's Keel backwards. It's just giving him like homage to John Keel. But in the movie, the movie is obviously a fabricated movie. It's a fictionalized tale based on the tragedy of what happened in that town. So that's the backstory with the movie. But in the movie, when they're being interviewed, there was a couple of things that were said by the character that said, oh, the Mothman comes around when tragedy strikes, such as the hurricane in Galveston in the 60s and the Chernobyl disaster in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is where Hollywood has their what's their
Fingers in it.
They're licensed to exaggerate, because here's the thing. I want to know. I'm in Texas, Galveston, Texas. Yes, they're subject to hurricanes. I want to know about this 1969 hurricane that they're talking about and read up about the Mothman. Well, guess what I found in my research? And I'm going to pull this up in regards to Galveston. So they're saying in the movie that in 1969, Galveston had a hurricane and they were seeing all kinds of Mothman things. Turns out there was never a hurricane in Galveston in 1969. So there is no evidence whatsoever of Mothman sighting in Galveston. However, 1969 happened to be, and this is the true story, happened to be the most active hurricane season since 1933 at that time. Obviously, now we had a lot worse hurricanes, but we're talking 1969. There hasn't been. I'm sorry?
No, I'm agreeing. I said right.
Okay. So since 1933 to 1969, it was the most active hurricane season. And it was the final year of the Atlantic multi-decadal oscillation era. So let me write that down. Basically, that talks about how the tides with hurricanes spin around. That was the final year. Now I'm just going to put that in the chat in case anybody wants to read up on that, because that's all meteorology stuff. So that's what it's called, the Atlantic multi-decadal oscillation era. That's what happened in 1969. So there was a series of hurricanes. The only thing is Galveston was not destroyed. Galveston did not have any Mothman sightings. So the fact that this movie and the book makes reference to Mothman being found in the 1969 is false. So that's how I'm defending, because this guy, John Keel, has a lot of inaccuracies in his book and in the movie. Same thing with Chernobyl. Anybody know the story of Chernobyl? That was the Russian nuclear disaster, where even to this day, you cannot even go to Chernobyl, and there's plenty of documentaries. There's no information about the Mothman in Chernobyl or anything like that. So it's almost as if...
Give me one second. I got to take this call real quick.
No, go ahead. Take the call. I'll keep talking. So there's no evidence or anything that these things have happened, even though the book and the movie makes reference to Galveston and to Chernobyl. However, in 1900, we're going to go back a little bit. In 1900, Galveston, Texas had the worst storm ever. It was a Category 4 hurricane, and it was the deadliest natural disaster that ever happened in U.S. history. 12,000 people died in that hurricane. And at that time, Galveston was a thriving town. There was a lot of art building structures. There was a lot of brothels. It was a very busy town. And the fact that that hurricane, a Category 4, came in, it was on September 8th, 1900, which I will write that in the chat if anybody wants to read about the Great Galveston Storm. That did paste. Okay, that was an actual event that happened. So September 8, 1900, there was a great storm, but once again, there was no mention of Mothman whatsoever. Now, Zach says, question. So are they saying that? Yes, that's exactly what they're saying. The story is, if a town or area starts seeing the Mothman, tragedy is going to strike. That is what they're saying. The only thing is, they're attaching the Mothman prophecy to a lot of these tragedies that didn't necessarily see the Mothman. Like they're attaching the Mothman after the fact.
And yeah, and I think that's what happened with this town, with the Mothman. I think this tragedy happened, and then all these people are like, "Oh, this happened or that happened," and da 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 da. And but it was, and that's the thing. It's, I mean, to me, the Mothman, like in Chicago, when the Mothman was spotted during the day. Nothing bad happened.
Right.
They
There was no
just
tragedy.
happened to see him. Multiple people, I should say. And nothing bad happened. I think if the Mothman is actually real, okay, I think it is the Mothman is misunderstood. Because if you think about it, okay, so these people are saying they see the Mothman, something bad happens, bad omen. But look, think about this: crows. People say when you see crows, that's a bad omen. But in all actuality, if you see a crow, it's a good thing. They actually ward off anything evil or negative that is around you.
So possibly he could be the protector, knowing that something evil is coming.
Yes. So I mean, if he is real, he could be very much misunderstood like crows are, or ravens. I mean, and he's trying
Quote the
to
raven,
warn
nevermore.
people. What's that?
I said, quote the raven, nevermore. Edgar Allan Poe, sorry.
But I mean, very misunderstood. Maybe he was trying, because they're saying that he was spotted on the bridge at one time. Okay. And well, then maybe you should have checked that bridge if it was you really saw the Mothman on the bridge, and you've heard all the other stories about the Mothman being there on a bridge, and then the bridge collapses, then maybe you should have checked the bridge instead of worrying about, this or that. So, I mean, in all actuality, I would be on the side that the Mothman was actually giving warnings.
And
letting you know something bad was going to happen. You need to check this out. And if you don't check it out, and I swear I'm not trying to sound mean or rude or anything, but
okay.
I'm going to side with the Mothman with trying to give good omen or trying to give, a warning.
I actually love this because you did research. You're giving counter. I love the fact that you did this. Now Zach says crows let you know when dangers is close. They're
Yes,
very
they
smart
do.
animals. Now
We actually 10 years, almost 10 years we've been here. About 10 years we've been in this house. I have tried for that long to get crows to come into our yard.
Are they coming in?
We had crows as of last fall.
Oh, you know what? They're going to start giving you treats. Like if you feed them and stuff, they'll bring stuff to you.
Our duck, Brock, shares her food with all the animals, all the birds, all the squirrels. But she shares them with the crows, and she has the crows already trained. It's kind of funny. Like she did the cats that she takes care of. She's a duck, the squirrels, stuff like that. But she'll share her food, but she's mama. And these animals know it. So if they start to get spooked because we're coming out or whatever, she will squawk at them and they'll stop. The cats will drop down, not move. It's great. But yeah, we actually have crows, and I love the fact that we have crows. I've been trying for so long. Yes, they can, but you have to split their tongue, and I think that's cruel. Yeah, in order for a crow or a raven to talk, you have to actually split their tongue.
Oh, that's horrible.
It is horrible. I know. I wanted a raven and a crow. That's like it's like my number one bird that I dream about having. But it's not possible because I mean they deserve to be wild. I mean all birds deserve to be wild. Another bird, like I have two birds on top of my list that I would love to have, and that is, the cockatoo psychos of the bird family and a crow / raven. Yeah,
I like when they do the things and the.
But yeah, they can talk. If you don't split their tongue, it's mumbles. But in order for them to talk like a parrot, you have to split their tongue, and it's very sad. But I've seen it happen. I've seen it done. Not watched the crow get it done, but have seen the after for them which is really sad. But
Zach
I did not know
says,
that. I have heard them talk before, but now I feel bad for enjoying. No, you know
"Aw."
what? The thing is, though, is they don't really. I mean, they do it when they're babies. From what I've researched, they do it when they're young, and it heals very fast. So it's just something that they do, but still enjoy it, because if they have gone through that in order to talk, enjoy it, because there's a reason why it was done, for people like us to enjoy.
Now
And
here. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
and I'm a strong believer that things happen for a reason. And so, if it wasn't meant for them to have it done, then something would have intervened and had it stopped from them to be able to not do that or go through that procedure. So, so if you're watching those videos, it's okay. Support that bird. Support them no matter what.
So now here's I'm going to backtrack just for a minute, because you said a very interesting thing, that perhaps the Mothman was a warning sign, something that's something. Hello, Tammy. Miss Foxy is in the house.
Hello.
So you were saying that the Mothman may have been a protector to ward off evil spirits. I'm going to give a nice little twist, and that is the idea of angels. Now, I know we spoke about this in the past, and we need to have a topic on this. I really want to have a topic on this, but biblical angels, the original biblical angels, okay? Biblical angels are not these beautiful white creatures with blonde, beautiful hair and white wings that give this beautiful glow that come to you and talk like a human. No, if you see a biblical angel, you will be scared to hell. The thing looks like well, they're demons, but you know what I mean? They're like angelic demons. They are scary, scary monster creatures. There's nothing beautiful about them. So what if the Mothman is actually a biblical angel? Now there's different races to biblical angels. Like you have the seraphims. So I mean, depending on what type of angel it is, you have the archangels. Could it be an angel that's giving a warning?
That's interesting. I never thought of that.
I mean, they may interpret it as evil, demonic, but like I said, when you read up on, I mean, I could, if you want me to pull up pictures, biblical angels are scary as hell. They really are.
Mhm.
They're nothing like I described with the white wings and the blonde hair and the blue
Yeah,
eyes.
because archangels are supposed to be beautiful. Like they're supposed to be like perfect. Like every from the tip of their hair to the tip of their toenails, everything in between, perfect. Nothing out of place, nothing. There's no imperfections at all. And then you have these guys who are kind of scary, that some people would classify as demons.
Mm-hmm.
And they're actually angels. They're just
here. I'm going to show a picture because I'm going to show a picture because I think this will be a perfect example. Because you could look at this thing and say that's the Mothman. You could really, and this is an angel. This is a biblical angel. So I'm not saying that this is a demon or anything, but that's. Let me just get the picture. Okay, that thing right there is a biblical angel. That could be the Mothman.
Yeah.
That
now,
absolutely
is that a representation of him flapping his wings, or
Yes.
is that actually all his wings?
That's his wings. Yes, his they're multi eyes with all the different wings and everything. I think
Yeah, that's creepy.
That is. Now, I don't have the exact verse because I wasn't preparing Bible verses tonight, but within the Bible, every time there's an encounter with an angel, it talks about how scared whoever's encountering is. Well, why would they be scared? If you had that thing come and visit you in the middle of the night, wouldn't you be terrified of it? Thank you, Zach. Ezekiel, when he was terrified when he saw angels. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you. I don't know the exact verse or whichever, but just think about if something like that came to you in the middle of the night with a message. You would be terrified. So that could be another take on what the Mothman actually is that maybe it's actually an angel that is giving warnings of any tragedy that may happen. Excuse me one second.
Now, I looked it up because I was kind of curious. I vaguely remember about Ezekiel being terrified of angels when he saw angels. So I looked it up, and so what it says is there were the living creatures I had seen beneath the God of Israel by the Kabar River, and I realized that they were cherubims, and I don't know if I said that right, so I apologize for that. Each had 4 faces and 4 wings, and under their wings was what looked like to be hands of a man. Their faces had the same appearance as those I had seen by the Kabar River. Now, the Bible verse that it's showing, Bible Gateway, Ezekiel 10, and the NIV MIT version. So if you want to look it up in the Bible, it would be Ezekiel.
Here, let me write that down. Ezekiel. What was the
10.
Bible? 10.
It's Ezekiel 10, 20 through 22.
20 to 22. Okay. Bible verse. I'll write that in on angels. Okay. But yeah, I mean, that's a depiction of what he described was 4 heads. I think there's this might be a different species, but there are different species of angels. Each of them look a little different, but all of them look like monsters. They're all terrifying. So,
and I mean, nobody's ever really seen the Mothman up close from everything that I looked at. There isn't. It's always a far away photo or far away, seeing them far away. Okay, so for all we know, it could be an archangel that is mistaken as a Mothman, and it just looks different, or he looks different being on Earth. I mean, if you go through the whole Christianity version of things in life, you know, it's definitely, it just all goes based on what you truly believe. And the archangels are supposed to be gorgeous, and all these other, from what I understand, most Christians do not believe in the other angels except for the archangels, and then they whatever with Lucifer and his demons. So I mean,
and that's the thing. Lucifer originally was an angel. That's the fact that we gotta look at, is the fact that he was an angel.
Mm-hmm. He was a fallen angel, but he was still an angel. And the reason why they say he can con people is because of how beautiful he is. Because he was, again, an archangel.
So now, wait. Zach says, I think in this context, it could, we don't know. We're just throwing out different ideas. Because like I said, from our research, the Point Pleasant Mothman probably is a hoax. But it stems so many different stories. You got the Chicago Mothman. In fact, I have an alternate story, and this is going back years before. So the alternate story I have, let me just pull it up so I have the information.
Okay. And let me address this real quick too as well. Technically, we're not supposed to be able to see angels. Okay, be whatever form of angel that you believe in. So people seeing the Mothman, okay, he looks dark, he's got the red eyes. Our brains literally, according to what it is understood in the Bible, our brains cannot process how beautiful an archangel would be. So our brain would probably process it as a dark, shadowy figure with red eyes, because we can't process how beautiful they're supposed to be. So our mind likes to play tricks on us as well. So I don't know if I made that sense to that or not,
but
absolutely. But there's just some things that we just can't process in our brain. And so this could be one of those many things that people who have seen him, the Mothman. Oh, and they're also saying that there's more than one. I've seen two where they said that
That's
there's
supposed to
been
be
more than
bringing
one.
him.
Oh, look at the puppy.
He wanted to bring the puppy because the puppy was crying for me. Hi, baby.
Aw, hi there, buddy.
Hi, little baby. It's a little puppy interlude, real quick. this is little Butterball. Sorry, guys. He was crying for me, so
Oh, that's right.
I'm gonna hold him for a minute so he calms down. But there is an interesting story in Houston, Texas again. Texas is always like center of some weird phenomenon, but it's the Houston Batman. Okay, so this is 1953. 1953.
Does he got the sign that goes in the sky too?
Batman. Okay, so this is 1953. Remember, Point Pleasant didn't happen until 1966, 1967. Hey, stop that. So, Lubbock-based author Max McNabb wrote a few articles about the Houston Batman. It all began in June of 1953, where a young Houston housewife named Hilda Walker was sitting on her porch with her neighbors in a peaceful humid night. They witnessed 25 feet away a huge shadow across the lawn. It was thought to be a big moth caught in a street lamp. But then the shadow started to bounce upward towards a pine tree. A man stood in the form 6.5 feet tall with wings on its back, a strange yellow glow surrounding the Batman. He appeared to be dressed in black or gray, tight-fitting clothes, and the witnesses were stunned. They watched it for 30 seconds while he swayed from tree branch to tree branch, and then he completely vanished. So so you have multiple people who saw this Houston Batman. Now, the first thing that caught my eye was they didn't talk about red eyes at all. No mention of red eyes. Instead, they were talking about gold, which that was one of the things that I thought about. Because at night, if you think about it, you don't technically see red eyes reflecting in eyes. When with animals, you'll either see gold or green, or even humans, you'll see gold or green. The only time you get red eyes is when we used to take the old-fashioned pictures, because that's the way the lens determined the red eyes.
Right.
But naturally, we don't see red when we see reflections. We don't see red and we don't see reflections to that. So it would make sense if they're out and about and they see a reflection in somebody's eyes as being gold, as opposed to red.
Now, here's another thing to think about. Okay, people who are shade colorblind or colorblind in general. Maybe they think they're seeing red, but it's not really red. It could be gold.
Good point. Off topics, you should check out another channel called Casper Site. Is it a ghost channel? Because I have to say I'm getting more and more into ghost stories and spooky stuff. I'm working on a couple.
YouTube?
Yeah. Zach, is that on YouTube or just specify? Well, it probably is. It's another channel, so we'll take a look at that. But yeah, I'm delving into the whole horror genre a little bit more, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. More to come. We're still in the beginning stages of it, but yeah. So with this Houston Batman, that could be another take on the Mothman. The only thing with Houston Batman is that came out at a time with what do you call it? Batman in the comic books, because there was a Mothman creature from Batman, and that is where they actually came up with the name Mothman for Mothman Prophecies, was from the Batman comic books.
I'm actually subscribed to that person on YouTube.
Are you?
Because and it's funny because I was off YouTube for so long, they didn't unsubscribe me on all my channels. They just took away all the notifications. So, but I was already subscribed to them, so I just turned on the notifications now.
So it's a reactionary channel to ghost stories? Ooh.
And
Or ghost.
he's got one on here that is talking about UFO clips.
Cool.
And
I'm definitely going to check out that channel. Thank you for
paranormal. Yeah, there's a lot of paranormal, but it looks like the latest one was a UFO clip UFO clips that you haven't seen before. So, hey, Dwayne.
Hello, Dwayne. Welcome to the show. Now, I need to know. I'm going to throw this out there. How many gamers do we have out there? I'm gonna just throw that question. How many gamers? I will be honest, I am not a gamer. I'm delving into games, but I'm not a gamer at all. So when people make gaming references, it's like right over my head.
Me too.
Okay.
my son's really into the gaming. He actually wants to design games.
Okay, well, here's an interesting thing, because I'll tell you a funny story. So,
no, you're good, Zach. You're good.
Amazon Prime. If anybody has Amazon Prime, you do get free movies. You can watch Mothman Prophecy. No, Mothman Prophecies. Wait, did we watch it on Amazon or did? No, you have to pay for it on Amazon. However, there is the documentary on the Mothman with the whole town. Very interesting documentary. It goes through the whole thing. It goes through the actual town folks that they interviewed. It it talks to the sheriff. It talks to all the people. So it's a very interesting documentary. You really get the interview process from the people who were experienced with Mothman. Here's the thing. I'm sitting there watching it with the gamer. And what does my boyfriend, what does he say? He's like, Fallout 76. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, Fallout. I'm like, okay, now Amazon Prime just came out with the new series Fallout. Very good series. It's based on the game. I watched the whole season. It's great. I can't wait till season 2 comes out. So if you are a gamer who plays Fallout, in the game Fallout 76, there is an entire Mothman scenario, challenge, journey, whatever you call it in gaming terms, whatever the gaming term is, you are actually playing against the Mothman. You got to find the Mothman. You're going to find the Ohio chemical plant in the game. You're going to search for the Mothman and try to, I guess, kill it or whatever. So it makes all these references to the Mothman because it's a character in the game.
That's crazy.
Dwayne says my son calls him. Yes. So keep on the lookout for, if you're a gamer, Fallout 76, you could play and search for the Mothman within the town of Point Pleasant. They did the whole thing. I don't know if the bridge or makes reference in the town, but definitely the chemical plant does.
I don't, like I said, the whole thing with the Mothman, I mean, honestly, when it comes right down to it, we can't tell you if you should believe in the Mothman or if, let me start that over. We can't tell you that you have to believe in the Mothman or you don't have to believe in the Mothman. It really just boils down to what you personally feel on the situation. Like I said, believe that he is good luck or a good omen. If he is real, then he would be a good omen because he's giving warning before something bad happens. And if he really was giving a warning for a year before this bridge collapsed and they didn't pay attention, then maybe it did, and with it being proven not real, I mean, whatever, it is what it is. But then maybe it'll open people's eyes to, if you see him, check where the area that he's at. Because obviously something's not right. You need to fix it and
exactly
go from there.
I mean, that's good to know. If you start seeing strange phenomenon happening in your town, you start seeing reports of strange UFO sightings, strange sightings of birdmen, strange people being visited, something's going to happen. That's what I feel.
And check it out. Do your due diligence. I hope I said that word right.
Yes,
go check it out and make sure that if something isn't right, you report it or you fix it or you do something to help prevent a tragedy from happening.
Now, here's the
Regardless
thing.
of what it is.
Here's an issue, though, and this is a very interesting issue. The whole idea surrounding prophecies. I almost want to say they can't make it to the point accurate. I mean, if you ever look at like Nostradamus or Baba Yaga or any of the past, the Sleeping Prophet, any of these people who make prophecies, they are extremely vague in what they're saying. You almost have to, it's a puzzle. You almost have to figure it out. And generally with prophecies, it's not until after the incident that you realize that's what they were trying to say this whole time, because they don't flat out say that says, okay, there's going to be an explosion at this building at this time on this day, blah, blah, blah. No, they'll probably say something along the lines that the skies will get like whatever, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Right. Zach, actually, real quick, Zach's gonna be heading out. Thank you for joining us. Much love.
In Scotland? Oh my God. Have an amazing trip, Zach. Enjoy Scotland. And we're so glad that you were able to join us tonight.
Heck yeah. And I hope your internet gets better.
All right. Thank you, Zach.
Be safe. Be safe. I just wanted to acknowledge him. I know
I try to do that. I know we get so caught up in what we're saying, and that's why I try to acknowledge what the chat is saying. But thank you, Zach.
Yes, for sure.
But yeah, I almost want to say that you almost can't actually put prophecies word for word verbatim as to what's going to happen, because then here's the thing, and this is like the time travel paradox. If you tell somebody exactly what's going to happen in the future, they are going to change it, which means the event is going to be changed, which never happened. So your prophecy now becomes nothing. It's no longer a prophecy because you already changed the outcome of what's going to happen because you know what's going to happen.
Right. And yes. I mean, if you think about it, with prophecies being so vague, so very little information put it in, sometimes that's not a good thing, because then, it would be like me, let's see, how do I want to explain this? Be like me saying, this, and this is going to happen, but I'm very vague about it. And then the situation happens, and then you're like, oh, well, this, here's all the puzzle pieces that we should have put together before it happened. Prophecies, I got to know a little bit more than just a little bit of this, and this when it comes to prophecies.
And
it makes sense.
When you go to fortune teller or tarot cards or anything like that, there is a level of vagueness. Because there's also the thing that, do you believe that everything is predestined, or do you believe you could change your own destiny by choice? So understanding what an outcome could potentially be, do you have the free will to change it, or just the fact that you've been told what the outcome could happen is the very thing which causes it to happen?
I don't know, because I think that, me personally, I think that everything happens for a reason. And if you, for that, somebody telling you that this is going to happen, maybe there's a reason why you're being told that this is happening, so you can change it. I don't know if that's making any sense, but it's the closest that I can get to trying to explain it.
There's I made mention to this. It's a disturbing episode, but it's also a very, very interesting episode. It's an episode of The Outer Limits, not the original Outer Limits, but the new one that they did, because they redid it. And what the premise was it was a time traveler going back in order to kill Hitler. And I mean, that's something that a lot of people say. They're like, oh, if you could go back in time, you'll go back and kill Hitler this way. They can't. But the way the story was designed, that's the very thing that caused it. Because this person went back in time to try to kill Hitler, that was the very thing that caused Hitler to be created. And it's once again that whole time travel paradox that you wouldn't have to go back in time if it wasn't happening to begin with. But because it did happen, and it creates this endless loop. I almost want to say that's the same thing with prophecy. Is if you're giving information that tells you, okay, this is going to happen at this time, beware, it's already set in stone that it's going to happen, even if you decide to change it or not, because just being aware of that knowledge probably is the thing that facilitates it to happen. Bargain Effect says everyone is in control of their own destiny. Absolutely. But what if during their time of your destiny, you're given information?
And then that's where I would think that that's where, you know, you control it yourself. If you're given the information, then you can change it if you want to. And as most people, if you're given information about something that's going to happen in the future, most people are, I'd say about 95% of people will go and try to change it.
Mm-hmm. And control and right, and changing it will probably be the very thing that caused it. I mean, I can give I'll give a stupid example, but say you get a prophecy tomorrow, don't cross the train tracks. If you cross the train tracks, something bad is going to happen. Okay, so you're like, you know something? No worries about that. I know I cross the train tracks at this time. No big deal. I'll just go the opposite way, go around it, and I'll never cross the train tracks. Well, you decide to go the opposite way. What happens? There is a detour. There is a car accident. There is something that happens which ends up detouring you right back, not to the train tracks you would have crossed, but a different set of train tracks. And now that prophecy just caused a tragedy because you went to a different train tracks instead of the ones you normally would. And I mean, something along those lines. You take information every day and have to decide what to do with that information to guide your future. I agree with that. Mm-hmm. But I almost feel like if you're hinted or pushed at, or then something's already getting the ball rolling. That's what I personally believe. That might not be the case, but that's the irony. I almost feel like there's irony in the situation that having too much information could be the very thing that causes your demise.
See, we used to have a GPS that we had a campsite down in Jefferson area, and we lived up here, and we had it for like 2 years, and we had this GPS, and this GPS had the spooky voice, sound like Dracula. Okay. And we would go down to our campsite, and it would literally tell us to take a different route. And we're like, okay, well, let's see what's going on. We learned to listen to our GPS spooky voice because it saved us more times than anybody would believe.
Interesting. Usually, though, GPS...
There was one time where there was a car pileup that we would have been in the middle of if we would have just taken the normal way.
Hello, Valerie. Mommy's in the house.
Hey, Mom. Welcome. Another time, Tommy almost got slammed into because the lady was too busy on her phone, and he was pulling the boat, and there was a semi in front of him waiting to turn onto the highway, and it asked him, have you looked in your rearview mirror lately? And he looked up, and this woman was flying, almost hit him. He was able to move just enough, and then she threw her phone and did this thing, missed him. But it's a lot of stuff that with that GPS that saved our butts, let me tell you.
That spooky voice was a sign. It was giving you...
Yep.
And I mean, okay, not everything evil is bad. I mean, no. You're saying it's spooky voice. People might be like, oh, that's too creepy. But here you are listening to that very voice, which is giving you good directions. I mean, it's giving you a good... It's bringing luck, I guess you could say. Or whatever it's bringing.
And that's the thing. It's, all in what you personally believe. And it just... The Mothman is interesting in the fact that there are people who believe he's nothing but a bad omen. And there are people like me who feel that if he is real, he was a good omen. He was warning people. People weren't listening. So maybe they didn't understand or process the fact that they needed to pay attention to the situation.
I'm actually going to share my screen so people could get a visual of this, because in the town Point Pleasant, they're showing to the Mothman, obviously, because it's their thing. They have a Mothman statue. So this is their vision of what the Mothman looks like. It is a 12-foot tall metallic statue created by Bob Roach. It was unveiled in 2003. So just imagine having that thing in the middle of your town. It looks a little bit like a butterfly. It looks a little bit like, in fact, I should make it a little bigger so you can actually see it. Sorry, guys. Okay, let's make this a little bigger. All right. A little bigger. Has red eyes. Looks like a little, I mean, I almost want to say, it looks like the Green Goblin or something from Marvel.
Yeah, it's like a mixture of Green Goblin and
a butterfly or something.
Oh, what is the blue beetle?
Yeah,
and a butterfly.
Right. That's what I'm getting. Yes, Valerie says go by your gut feelings.
Yeah.
You know something? There is a belief on a metaphysical level that your gut feelings is the answers to, is a protection from negativity, from bad energy, from trauma, horror, and all that other stuff. And people have suppressed following their gut instinct. And that's why a lot of bad things they say happen to people, where if you can open up your mind and open up your body and truly follow what your gut instinct is telling you, it will probably protect you in so many different ways. So, oops.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So definitely go by your gut feeling. Why am I? Okay, there we go. I was stuck, and I might be. Why is my computer connection going down? I don't know if you guys could see me. Okay, good. All right, I got a little thing about computer connection was spotty for a minute, so sorry about that. So what else? Do we have more information on the Mothman? Let me see my notes real quick. We talked about the statue. They also do have a festival as well. So if you're ever down in West Virginia, you could go to their annual festival. Fun little thing.
Actually, I might want to go.
You want to go? How far is it from where you are? You like? Is it a long ride or?
Let me look. Oops. It helped to actually put the word right in.
You can even visit the museum. There's a Mothman museum there too. It's the one and only Mothman museum in the entire world.
Let's see. And let's. Now I gotta remember how to spell the place. Do we put it in the chat? Yep, right there. Do.
I'll highlight that comment in just a minute.
It is 9 hours and 56 minutes from my home.
That is a long ride.
And this includes tolls.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's 10 hours and 4 minutes or 10 hours and 26 minutes without tolls.
I almost want to say we can do an entire show on nothing but premonitions and gut feelings, because I bet each and every one of us have a story similar to this. But my mom says, went to a mall. There was a couple by my car, said that left the lights on. Gut told her, do not go back out, because she knew that the lights weren't on. And I mean, that is a, whatchamacallit, that's a tactic that they use. They'll tell you, oh, your lights are on. Oh, your tire is, and then that's when they'll grab you, attack you, steal your wallet, whatever. Steal your car.
That's crazy what they do nowadays. It's so stupid.
So go by your gut feeling. That's the thing. Very important. It's there for a reason. It is your natural internal instinct to protect yourself. So,
show.
you know something? I'm looking at my notes. We went through all my notes.
Oh wow!
We went through this fast.
Holy crap!
I'm just looking. Yeah, we went through all my slides and everything.
Nice. Did that pretty fast. That's interesting.
We did do
It
this
never
fast.
seems to go that. Usually it's we're long. We're trying to get this stuff out and.
Well, you know what? I think I know what the issue is. We picked a topic that was narrow to the point. We're only talking about the Mothman. Usually when we do topics, our topics are so broad that it ends up going in so many different directions as to information. Yeah. So we need to learn how to narrow it down so this way we can talk about it and can discuss different things.
Right. I do agree with that. But I don't. We'll try it.
We're gonna try.
Like yes. Next week, our topic is paranormal equipment.
I like that. That's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, and I still got to reach out to my friend. And I thought the birthday one was next week or next Thursday for some reason. I got them flip flopped. So in my head. So I got to reach out to her and see, because her and her boyfriend, and she's part of a paranormal group. I'm gonna see if she can come on and talk about like the equipment and stuff that they do. She also does twice a month a paranormal live with her ex. It's X versus X, and it's a paranormal thing that they do. So it's actually kind of neat. But I will see if I can get a hold of her, see if she'd be interested in coming on and talking about the equipment and stuff that they use when they do their paranormal haunts or paranormal get-togethers.
And I got some stories as well because I used to be part of the Stephenville Paranormal Group, and we did go on ghost hunts. So I
want to do it, but
I can talk about a couple of ghost hunts I went on and some creepy stuff that happened during those times.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to go on a ghost hunt.
I haven't found a local group here where I am now, but I'm really hoping that we'll see. But yes, that's going to be next week. So next week we're going to be talking about ghost hunts. The week after, okay, yeah, shameless self-promotion. It's my birthday. However, there are so many theories and lore and interesting things surrounding birthdays that I'm like, you know something, let's tie it together because we are going to bring in a little bit about the zodiac, astrology. We're going to talk a little bit about birthdays and the rituals behind birthdays. So I think that'll be an interesting discussion. And it's my birthday. I have nothing. Yeah. I'm not doing anything on my birthday. So that's going to be my celebration as I get to spend time with you guys. I don't have
reaching out to her right now.
I don't have my list going forward. Oh, I want to go. Yes, she's talking about the Mineral Wells, the Baker Hotel. So they do ghost hunts, and I want to really go on another ghost hunt with them because they are awesome. I can't wait till it actually opens up because I think 2025, 2026 is when the hotel is supposed to reopen officially because they decided after all these years to open it up again. I'm waiting for the tragedies to start I mean, I shouldn't even say that, but I'm waiting for the weird stuff to happen because that hotel is creepy as hell.
That's the one over by you, right?
Yes, it's called the Baker Hotel. Every time you go there, I mean, you feel the aura of the hotel when you're there. And it's this big building that just doesn't belong in this town. Like when you come up to it, it's like you look at it, it's this extravagant big building. It just doesn't belong in the town and it's creepy. So they're going to reopen and open it up as a spa place. So
it was the Baker Hotel and Spa.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. Yes. It's supposed to reopen, I think, 2026. They have it said.
Trying to see an actual picture of it.
Here.
I mean, I have it pulled up. I don't want to read the story on it, but I just want to see the actual hotel, like an actual picture of it.
I'm going to pull it up for you. Here, okay. I got it. Let me just share my screen. So, because the thing to me looks like a penitentiary. It's creepy. That is the Baker Hotel. It's when you're there, to me it just seems, did I share my screen or did I, there it is.
Mhm.
It seems like it doesn't belong in that town. And you walk around, it just feels weird, it feels evil. They talk about how many people have unalived themselves in this hotel, the amount of ghost stories from this hotel. They do haunting, like ghost hunts constantly. So, but an investor came in, they are redesigning it, and they're reopening it up probably by 2026. So she's looking at it carefully. See, the weird thing is you're always going to see something weird in the windows. When you take pictures, like I have pictures where you see weird stuff in the windows.
I'm looking at the 5th floor, like in the very front of it.
Okay, let's see. Hold on. Let me get back to that picture. Where's my picture? Okay, so first floor, second, third, fourth. You're talking about this floor right here?
Nope, one above it.
One above it.
I'm not
This one?
including the bottom. I'm
Okay.
just the windows that you can see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So like this window.
Yeah, these windows are like this floor.
But like I said, I mean, even something right here. Like I said, there are so many stories. I mean, there are people where they will come right here and just unalive themselves. So the very first day, that's what the owner did of this hotel. The first day that it opened back in like the 1900s, I don't have the exact date, unalive themselves. So, and there's really
1929.
Okay, thank you. Well, I knew it was the early 1900s, so 1929. And like I said, you look at this hotel, it just doesn't seem right. And the town itself is called Mineral Wells, where the water, they call it Crazy Town. They'll say, welcome to Crazy Town, because there's so many minerals in their water that it causes people to go crazy.
Gives no meaning to it's in the water.
Yeah.
Don't drink the water.
Don't drink the water. But yeah, that's one of the hauntings. We could talk about that on one of our haunted houses discussions or something.
No,
like
I
that.
love I'm not even gonna lie. I love the architecture, and I think that it's definitely a unique building. But that 5th floor, man. The 5th floor, it's creepy to me. Like I get a creepy vibe from that.
And like I said, it is even worse in person. When you drive up to this place, because it feels like this building should not be in the town. It's a tiny little town of nothing. There's nothing surrounding it. I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere town, and yet you have this big hotel.
So do you think that maybe this was supposed to kick off like this town becoming like a big deal?
That's what it was. It was an escape, a getaway for rich people back in the 1920s. That it was a spa. It was a like a retreat center.
Okay.
It was supposed to be, but too many weird things happened at the hotel.
Let's see here.
Yeah, but like I said, it's called the Baker Hotel in Mineral Wells, Texas.
29. I think the 29th of August, we're going to do something completely about the Baker Hotel in Spa.
Are we? Ooh.
Yeah, let's talk about it that day.
I could bring some personal pictures then.
Exactly.
I actually, in fact, I mean, I could save this for there, but we've gone through it. Trespassing.
Girl.
And I've got some creepy pictures.
I mean, I'm sure they know.
They don't allow you to trespass anymore because they gated it up, but there were times where you could easily go through it, and you don't want to go through it. It's creepy. So
I'm just waiting for her to get back to me. I reached out to her while we were still alive. That way I didn't forget again.
Oh, no problem. We'll find out next week. I mean, if she's able to do it, great. If not, we totally understand. But
right.
Or if we have to adjust it for a time that's suitable, we can do that as well.
Right.
But
You know, and um, she's pretty cool. So we'll see, you know, if I can. Um, I'd say we'd reach out and see if they can both come on. Well, I'll see if they can both, the X versus X thing. I'll see if they'll both come on at a different time so they can talk about that show.
oh, that would be cool.
Right. It's a paranormal thing. Explain what they do, how they do it, you know, and where they go and do this. That would be a whole nother show. And that so they could tell you about the history of the place that they go to and how many times they've been there and stuff like that. And that's actually not that far from here. It's in Baraboo. So it I like to go, but at the same time I'm a chicken shit sometimes. So
Aw.
once I'm
Yeah.
there, I'm sure it'll be totally different, but like getting the nerve up to go ghost hunting, yeah. I love that stuff. I just don't want to do it by myself.
Oh no, usually you go with a group of people. There's usually a lot of people, and that can make or break a hunt as well. When you're doing one of those ghost hunts, the energy can be really interesting when you have a group of people. So
yeah, and I like to experience it at least once, you know, at least once. So should I go through our list of stuff that we have?
let's do
All
it.
right.
We have
So
a
our
schedule.
dates coming up. June 13th, paranormal equipment. June 20th, Miss Melanie's birthday, and we will be talking about birthdays and histories and all that wonderful stuff when it comes to birthdays. The June 27th, haunted houses. We will talk about haunted houses. And if you have some good haunted house stories,
We want to hear it.
we want to hear it. You can even put them down in the comment section below so we can see them and we can copy them and we can even read them if you don't feel comfortable saying in a chat or whatnot. You can message us. Let me add my email. Next to my name.
Somebody's knock, 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 knock.
That's the neighbors.
Oh, is that music they're doing or hammering?
No, they're renovating the house next door.
Okay, so that's hammering of some sort. Either that or I was going to say some type of drum set going, don't.
No, that's the neighbors working on the house next door.
Lovely.
It's very loud. We are in the basement, and so I think it's traveling through the ground because it like upstairs you really don't hear it too much, and that's where you think you would hear it, but down here I hear it.
It's like,
I know when they're working on the house.
It's a heartbeat.
Like, yeah, it's like amplified down here.
Yeah.
Okay. Our next July 4th, we are taking off for the holidays. We want everybody to spend time with their families for the 4th of July and celebrate our freedoms. And if you haven't read the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. Just saying. July 11th, we are going to talk about mythological creatures. July 18th, we are doing sirens/mermaids.
Yes, that was the postponement show. So
yes, it was. July 25th, we are going to do serial killers and paranormal serial killer stuff. That would be part 1.
Okay, I'm writing it down so I have it.
Yep, not a problem. All right. And August 1st, part 2 of serial killers and paranormal.
Okay.
We have that's a 4-parter.
Oh, it's 4 parts? Okay,
Yep.
So July 25th to what date? August
15th.
15th.
Yep.
4-part serial killers.
Yep.
And then I think you added Baker Hotel as the last one.
August 22nd, fires 1820 to 1920.
Yes. Fires. Yes. Forgot about that. Definitely got to talk about the fires.
And then August 29th, the Baker Hotel.
This is going to be fun. I got to make all these thumbnails. So now I can go back to it. Okay. Speaking of which,
I was going to say, in the chat too, if you, hello Pages.
Hello Pages. Welcome to the show. It's towards the end, but welcome anyway.
Yes. Thank you for joining. So if you have, anything that you would like to share, if there's a topic that you would like for us to talk about, please email one of us, put it down in the comments below, or just add it into the chat while we're, sharing what we have, because we'll cover it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll look into it. We'll cover it, and
I'm going to say this as well. As a side thing, I'm starting a new podcast series, and it's going to be horror related. I am looking for ghost stories, written stories, fictional fact, anything like that. So if anybody has a story that they want to share and to be either discussed or read or anything on the show, I would love feedback on that as well. So you'll be seeing a lot more horror-based things that I'm going to be developing. Yes, we're going to do ghosts. We got to do ghosts. Maybe we should do that August, September.
I was thinking October. Talk about ghosts because it's the month of
Halloween. Pages, we are going to, but you know something? Within what we're doing, the haunted houses, we're definitely going to be talking about ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Hotel, we're definitely going to be talking about ghosts. Next week, we're doing paranormal equipment. We're going to be talking about ghost hunting equipment. Yeah. So we are going to be discussing ghosts. Definitely.
Oh yeah, and and with the paranormal, UFOs, yep, we have that written down. Mm-hmm.
So we're just giving you guys the next 10 shows. This way you know what to expect. Obviously, schedules are subject to change. If anything ever does change, we just put it on the end of, like we're doing with Sirens. Mermaids and Sirens is now going to be July 18th. So...
Yes, and then I get to share my story.
Yes, I can't wait to hear it. I mean, I heard part of it, but I like to hear it as a group thing. So
it's a short story.
But
yeah,
but
so we have all that done.
And we're always looking for feedback. If anybody has stories, things they want to talk about, things they want to contact us, we would love to hear it.
For sure. And again, we have our email addresses underneath our names. So if you want to share and you don't want it to, do it in the chat or in the comments or anything, we will share it. Let us know if you want your name used or not. And just go from there. I mean, we're having fun. And I like when we narrow it down to a specific topic like we did with the Mothman. And, we went a little squirrely, but you know what? It was actually a good little squirrely.
I like this was a good topic. I think it was very interesting.
Yeah.
So, but if anybody has not yet do it, go watch the movie The Mothman. It's a good movie. It's like it's an 80s movie, but it has Richard Gere in it. Couple other people, familiar faces you'll see. Hello, Chu. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
So I think we'll probably end it here. And I think one of the things I may want to do is I might work on doing a new intro.
Sounds good.
I don't know, because I think creepy little girl has run her course.
Right.
I enjoy it, but still, she ran her course.
It's the clown that gets me.
The clown. Oh, I could do an intro of nothing but clowns.
No.
No,
because you'll see my screen off and me crying, and if you're me crying in the background.
I won't do clowns, I promise.
Yeah, I'm not a big clown or balloon person, so never have been.
I want a balloon, Georgie. They want to float away.
Oh my god! So speaking of that, real quick. So,
Yes.
okay. I don't remember when it was. It had to have been last summer. So it rained. Okay. It was early morning. It rained. And there was a freaking red balloon over our sewer, our like sewer thing.
Oh, somebody put that there. They did
It
that on
literally
purpose.
floated by itself. Like I shit you not. It like was hovering over it, and then it literally started moving really slow, like somebody was carrying it, but it was doing this closer and closer to our house, like coming this way towards our house, towards me, and I'm like,
Nope.
ain't
Pop that
doing it.
balloon.
Nope.
Pop it.
I was freaking out. No.
Tell Tony, go over there and pop the balloon.
I was like, get that sucker out of here. Nope. I do not like balloons. I do not like clowns. And thank you, Stephen King. Just saying.
So yes, if anybody does want to just go up, brush up, you can watch the Mothman Prophecies. You can play the game Fallout if you want to play, because there's a whole section on the Mothman. And that's really it.
The game it was. I wrote the wrong game.
Oh, there we go. We all float down here. Stygian's in the house.
Yeah, screw that. What did you call it? Now I almost wrote down. We all float down here. Really?
Yeah.
Thanks, dude.
That's what it is. Stephen King's it.
You said Fallout?
Fallout, yes. Fallout. That's actually a really good series. It's on Prime. It's based on the game system, but the game is Fallout 76, where there's a whole little Mothman reference to the game.
Okay.
So
I just wanted to write it down so we have it.
Yeah. But I thought this series was a good series. So they need to come up with part 2 already, but that's going to be a while before season 2. I mean, it's going to be a while before they do season 2.
I know. Season or Criminal Minds Revolution or Evolution. Sorry, Evolution. The first 2 are season 17. It just dropped last night.
Oh, somebody's going to be watching.
Or this morning. I'm sorry, this morning. Today's Thursday. So this morning it dropped. I already watched them.
You watched all of them?
There was 2 they released last night.
Oh, just 2. Okay. I thought
Next week there'll be another 2 following week until all
that's annoying. 2 at a time?
I know. I forgot that when they released the Criminal Minds Evolution, it is a spinoff, or it's like a continuous from Criminal Minds actual show. And I love that show, but I'm very thankful that there was some time in between them doing season 16 and season 17, because I was able to go back and watch all the seasons.
You watched all 17 seasons?
I watched that show start to finish.
Wow.
Probably about 5-6 times. But here's the deal.
You know what's going to happen.
5 to 6 times. But it's like I'm watching it for the first time because I don't remember everything.
Yeah.
So, but if you like Criminal Mind type stuff, that show is phenomenal. I watch it on Paramount Plus, and they just released 2 new episodes today. I watched them already. I cannot wait until next week because they left it on a cliffhanger again, and we're all hoping that Reed comes back. I belong to a couple groups on Facebook, the Criminal Mind groups, and we're all hoping that Reed comes back.
Aww.
Boy genius. He's awesome.
All right, guys.
Favorites. Yeah.
Well, we're going to end it here. We will see you next week with paranormal equipment, ghost hunting equipment. So have a great day. If anybody has any questions, comments, stories, our email's below. And we thank you for coming out with us today. Have a great summer. Enjoy the week. And we will be back next week.
Much love.